What's up, tribe? Excuse me, how you guys doing? This is RuPaul's Drag Race Season 11, Episode 11. Now, let me say this before I even get into this episode because I might forget. Vanjie was robbed, and this should have been a double elimination. Let's get to it. We start the episode off where we left off with Sugar being eliminated. And, of course, you know, they have to do the workroom conversation. And the biggest thing I took away from the workroom conversation was Silky is really having a moment where she's like, look, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was, or putting forth the best effort, or just second guessing where she is and what she's put on the runway and the progress that she's made. Now, let me say this, and I have to be very honest. I liked Silky for her first episode. She got on my nerves, right? Then I started, like, you know, kind of, because I didn't look at the Meet the Queens. A lot of people liked Silky because they looked at the Meet the Queens and they liked what they saw in that little snippet, that little special they did. I never looked at that special because I guess I didn't want my opinion to be tainted or what have you. I really didn't. So that first episode, we go back in my first review, she irritated my soul. But I always felt like if she brought it down a little bit, she was very likable. In the challenges and stuff, she got it. Her runway needs help. Part of it, and this is, I know I'm going to get it. I know y'all going to put it in them comments. I know I'm going to get it. Part of my problem with her is that she's not polished, but I think part of the problem with her being polished is she doesn't accept her body type. And by that, what I mean is, I'm a big girl, okay? I'm a big girl. And I'm not, and I feel like I'm a firm believer that everybody don't need to wear everything. Everything is not for every body type. That's my opinion. That's how I feel. And as somebody who's a big girl, there are certain things you ain't gonna never catch me wearing. Now, I respect people who have a strong opinion of their body type and they don't give a damn. Like, I respect that. That ain't me. That's not where I am with it. But I do feel like for the purposes of her runway, I think that's why sometimes her runway is not as polished as it should be, because I feel like she does not take her body type into consideration and pick the things that look the best for her body type. Does that make sense what I'm saying? I hope nobody thinks that I'm body shaming or anything like that, because I am not. But I do think that there's a way that you pick outfits that accentuate what you have and minimize what's not so flattering. And that's just how I feel about it. I would say the same thing for a woman who has big breasts but a small bottom. You need to make sure that you invest in some good bras, because the last thing you need is to be hanging down here and got no belly. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen women who do that. They are very heavy chested, but they're thin. But because they don't wear the right body bras and body shaper type situation, it's not flattering to them. That has nothing to do with size. That's all about finding the things that fit you and flatter you. All right, I'm done with that. But I just had to say that because I didn't want to lose it and forget about it. I don't dislike Silky, and I think Silky has a great personality for this competition. However, her runway, there have not been a lot of her runway looks that have wowed me. There have been some that I thought were very nice. But overall, if I were to go for over the last 11 weeks, I probably could pick 3, maybe 4, right? And so when we get to the runway, I just think that's her weak. I think that's where she's weak in most cases. Now, last week, they tore her up for them damn pads. But if you listen to her in Untucked, she knew her pads were fucked up. I don't know why they got fucked up. I don't know what she needed to do to fix them. Now, this week, I think Michelle was just being nitpicky because I think she did a good job with the hip pads. Anyway, I done talked for 4 minutes, and I ain't even got to the show yet. Okay, so the mini challenge. The mini challenge was they did that whole slap thing that they did last year where RuPaul actually slapped oh shit, I could see her face. Damn it, y'all know who I'm talking about. I could see her face. And Ru said that she is still in litigation, which I don't think she really is. But she wasn't going to do the slapping, because I guess she said, what I ain't going to do is make that mistake again, because what you're not going to do is sue me. Now, what I will say is, in this challenge, The ladies had better reads in this challenge than they had in the reading challenge. Am I right? I mean, they were giving it to each other. I don't know if it was the pressure of the reading competition. They knew it was coming and they just, what they thought would work didn't work. I don't know. But they were reading the hell out of each other in that slapping competition. And of course the winner was going to be who gave the best performance or the best reaction. And Brooklyn won. I don't disagree that Brooklyn should have won because I think Brooklyn gave some really good reactions when she got slapped. I think Evie did a pretty decent job as well. Now, the winner got to pick, okay, this is a makeover challenge. You know, they do a makeover every year, and every year they pick a different group of people to make over. This year they brought back 6 of the eliminated queens to do the makeover. Brooklyn got to pick who was going to be paired with who. So let me go. Who came back? Plastique, Sugar, Soju, Honey, Scarlett, and Ariel Versace. Here's how we broke it down. Brooklyn put herself with Plastique. Ain't no brainer there. Plastique is, her name says it all. It ain't, the canvas ain't hard the canvas ain't hard to fix, right? Nina, she put Nina with Sugar. She put Akira with Honey Davenport. Evie with Scarlett. I think she thought that was going to go a different way because Scarlett is so polished and so high fashion. But that kind of didn't, well, we'll get there. Vanjie with Ariel Versace. And Silky with Soju. Now, they kept making it seem like it was such a setup, such a setup, such a setup. Here's the reality. Somebody had to get Soju. And I think anybody who got Soju was going to think it was a setup. I felt so bad for Soju because they act like Soju was the worst thing since sliced bread. Now, let me say this. Let me go on a little 2-second rant for a quick second. I don't know how in the hell my mother, Miss Milan Trejor, keeps getting passed up. If Soju made it on this show, I don't know who Soju know, or I know she's a YouTube personality, and maybe that's what got her over the top, but so is my mother. Milan Trejor. Soju can't even walk in heels. Are you serious? I mean, no disrespect to Soju. I'm sorry. But do I think Soju was ready to be on this show? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And if we thought, like last year when Vanjie got eliminated, I think everybody was left thinking, wow, we wish we could have seen more of Vanjie, which is the reason why she's back, the reason why she turned into such a sensation. I don't think any of us walked away from that with Soju. And again, it's not a personal thing. I don't know you personally, so it's not a personal dig. But it is a, you weren't ready to be on this show dig, and now and you coming back, we definitely see that there was no mistake made. And I'm sorry. And as far as it being a setup to Silky, anybody who got Soju was going to be challenged. It has nothing to do with the makeup or anything like that. It really truly is. She's just not polished. And like Silky said when she was getting her ready, she said, with the challenge was supposed to be making over a drag queen. I feel like I'm making over somebody who's never done drag before. And honestly, I feel her on it. Now, that doesn't excuse everything that went down, but I definitely see her point of view on it. So, the challenge, just like with all the makeup challenges, the makeover challenges, you have to make over this person and make it look like that you are sisters from the same drag house. And it has to, show what your personal drag house style is, or message, or aesthetic, and that kind of thing. So, and the drag queens, the returning drag queens, Ru made it clear, because at first everybody was worried, oh my gosh, are they here to replace one of us? You know how they do that trick sometime where one person gets eliminated and the person gets to replace the person eliminated. Ru made it very clear, they're not back. This is just for the challenge. There's no trick. There's no backdoor. Nobody's coming back. So just roll with the challenge as is. Don't worry about if somebody's coming in to take your place. That's not happening. They also are not allowed to help out in any way, shape, or form, especially in the makeup department, right? Which, of course, for a drag queen is going to be hard because you're used to doing your face your way. You know what you want to look like. So I'm going to just go on. I'm not going to drag this out. Let's talk about the workroom. Here's some things that went down in the workroom because, whenever people come back, it's always some shit. So here's what went down in the workroom. We have Wiggate, okay? Remember when Ariel Versace left, she left a lot of wigs. And there was a whole argument about who she left the wigs for. Plastique said, hey, she left them for me. I was her best friend in this competition. I was the closest thing to her. She left those wigs for me. Come to find out, Ariel said, I was just so emotional and so caught up, I just fucking forgot them. I didn't leave them for anybody. She said, if I did leave one wig in particular, and I left it for Silky. There was no other wig that was left for anyone. Now, and it's funny, if you go back to that episode, I think it probably happened in Untucked, Silky said that. Silky said that she left that wig for me. And Vanjie told her, look, boo, them wigs got split up, toe up, rounded up, every woman for themselves, and I don't know where them wigs are. And so Ariel was like, well, I'm going to get my wigs because I want my wigs. Those are like my babies. Like, she doing all of this. She giving us all of this about what she going to get, and she want her wigs, and somebody going to give her damn wigs. And when it all came, and then the other thing that went down was Scarlett and Nina was being messy. Nina said, so who are you shocked to still see in the workroom? Scarlett said, Silky. Nina said, really? Well, who else? Scarlett said, Vanjie. And she said, I really felt like Silky was, she's gotten a lot of help from everybody. I feel like her looks just aren't polished. Vanjie, well, she was getting those critiques. And when Michelle said, hey, I know what you're going to wear before I see it, I just don't know how you come back from that. I feel like Scarlett had some valid points in why she said who she said. Now, the problem was, Nina was being messy to begin with to even ask the question. Scarlett, you were dumb for answering it. Because I would have said, girl, if you here, you deserve to be here. And I would have kept it moving. You ain't going to get me on camera saying shit, especially when my ass went home 3 weeks ago. Hell no, I ain't got nothing to say. So Ariel, Akira, heard this whole breakdown. And Akira, being who she is, Akira was like, well, look, Silky, that's her home. Silky and Vanjie, that's her homegirl. They the dream girls. So she said, you know me, I'm going to bring it up. So while they're doing their makeup, Akira says, so, Ariel, what's up with the wigs, boo? It was a whole lot of controversy over them wigs. Who you leave them wigs for? Well, here we got a little bit of hashtag BPPing, backpedaling and pussy popping. Because now Ariel is and she said, I didn't leave them for anyone in particular. She did finally come right out with it. I didn't leave them for anyone in particular, but I did leave that one wig for Silky, but well, where are my wigs? So they start pointing out who got what, but the one wig that she worried about is the one wig that's not in the workroom. You think we don't know that you already peeped which wig was missing? Out of all the wigs that you left, all of your wigs are there except for the one wig that you so worried about that just so happened Raja was the one that took it. Raja ain't there. I said, you a little messy one, Akira. So Akira got the backpedaling and pussy popping on that one. So then, Ariel. So then Akira says, well, what was that you were saying, Scarlett, about who you were surprised to still see in the workroom? And that turned into a big thing between Silky and Scarlett. Well, Silky was like, well, why me? What is it about me? Like, why y'all, she's like, I've been nice to everybody. Why y'all bitches just don't like me? Nobody criticized Silky on her talent. It was all about her looks. And it was a comment made about her getting a lot of help. And her thing was, I help people as much as people help me. Like, I don't feel like I got a lot of help. Well, Miss Evie decided that she had something to say. I will say that I feel like Silky was kind of going off on Scarlett. And I feel like Evie was jumping to Scarlett's defense. Part of it, I think, because Scarlett was her partner in this particular activity. But I think the other part was she didn't disagree. Well, we know how she's been feeling about Silky for a long time. So she didn't disagree with what Scarlett said. And her thing was, look, y'all keep acting like because somebody has a difference of opinion, then that means that all of a sudden that they're hating on you or something. And that's just not it. I agree with that, Evie. I agree that just because somebody has a difference of opinion does not mean that they hate on you. However, what I will say is your delivery, which I have said before, is your issue. And that's going to come to play later on and going into Untucked, where Evie she doesn't understand why she's like, I don't understand why people are coming to me just because I'm honest. And what Nina tried to tell you a couple of weeks ago, and you still not processing, it's not what you're saying. It's your delivery, and it's when. Sometimes it's when you choose to speak. Because if I'm already feeling some kind of way, and I'm already feeling beat up and run down, and feeling like, I just fucked up, The last thing I need right now is for you to say, yep, you fucked up. Give me a minute to process it. Give me a minute to process it. I might be open to the criticism in the morning. But right now, in this moment, I can't. I don't, and especially when I know, especially when I already don't have a relationship with you and we ain't friends. I can't hear that right now. I can't. And I think that that's the part that Evie doesn't get. It's okay for you to say whatever you want to say. And you think that people are just supposed to accept it and move on. But the reality of the situation is sometimes it's just when you choose to say it and how you choose to say it. And so there's that. So with that being said, those were the two big workroom, blow ups. Our guest judges are two women that I absolutely love. Wanda Sykes and Lena Waithe. Let me tell y'all something, how much I love those two women. Those two women, they just give me life. They just give me life. Let me tell you something. A couple of weeks back, when I did a review on Boomerang, and I tweeted it out, and Lena Waithe responded to my tweet and liked my tweet. Bitch, I screenshotted that shit. Yes, I did. It was everything for me. All right? And she's a super fan of Drag Race, so she did, and they both did really well with the judging. They weren't too critical, but they definitely had opinions that I agree with most of their opinions. I really did. So, all right, let's go. The runway. Yvie Oddly and Scarlett. They did the whole Yvie Oddly thing. They had this shredded denim look that, I mean, it ain't do nothing for me, but most of Yvie's looks don't really do a lot for me. I think they're creative, but, it's just not my style. The judges weren't really crazy about it either this week. They weren't, normally they be eating Yvie ass up and think that she's so creative and so different and so quirky and odd and all of that. But they wasn't really feeling her this week. Yeah, they weren't really crazy about what she came out with on the runway. Nina West and Sugar. Nina did this whole ode to gay pride. Her outfit was like a gay flag. It was the rainbow. And then Sugar had an outfit that had the transgender flag on it, symbol on it. It didn't match. The wigs were horrible. The hair was horrible. Sugar's makeup, we've seen Sugar do her own makeup, okay? And Sugar ass be snatched. And the makeup was not great. The outfits were just very costumey. They would have been great at a gay pride event. They'd have been great on stage at a gay pride event or something to that effect. But it just didn't really do, for me, it didn't really do a lot. And the judges weren't crazy about it either. Lena liked the whole rainbow aesthetic, and wearing pride. But, it sort of fell a little bit for her as well. But overall, I think Lena gave it the most positive critique, but even her critique wasn't great. It just wasn't horrible. Does that make sense? So then we have Honey Davenport and Akira Davenport. Now, they're from the same family, but from different parts of the country. One is New York, one is Texas. So they have sort of a different aesthetic. Akira is very pageant. Their looks were beautiful. They definitely look like sisters. They had sort of similar dresses but different colors. They had the big blonde hair, makeup on point. Boom. And Rue even said, she said, I think that's the best Honey done looked. I said, oh, Rue with the shade. So, Soju and Silky. It was tragic. She was doing the whole ode to the 70s thing. They had the bell bottoms with the bodysuits and the big wigs. And I think that if this were a 70s theme runway, it would have been on point. I do. But with the competition with what other people came out on that runway with, it just didn't hold up. For me, it just didn't hold up. Do I think they were horrible looks? No. If it were a 70s runway, on point. Do I think she did the whole sisters thing? They didn't look like sisters to me. The makeup wasn't, Soju's makeup wasn't great, and Silky always talking about how she can paint a mug. Clearly you can paint your own mug because Soju's makeup just was not great. Okay, but okay. Vanjie and Ariel Versace. Honey, their look was perfect in everything. It was red. Now, I'm going to tell you something, Vanjie. You love some red. You know, sometimes you don't realize stuff until it's too late. I don't think she realized how much red she had until she was there and realized how much red she had. You know what I mean? But their outfits were red. Beautiful. The face was beautiful. The wigs, everything. I thought it was beautiful. And I think Vanjie should have won this week. I feel like Vanjie got robbed. But okay. Brooklyn and Plastique. They did the whole pageant thing. They had matching dresses. It was the same dress, different color with like a little vine. Beautiful. Beautiful hair, makeup, everything. It was beautiful. Very pageant. Very, even their walking, everything was very pageant. Of course, the judges ate it up. Brooklyn won. I think Vanjie should have won. So they get down and Ru does what I absolutely hate. I cannot stand that who do you think should go home question. I hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. But they only called two names. They called Evie's name or Silky's name. The only two names they called. And when it was all over said and done, who was in the bottom was Silky and Nina. The song was No Scrubs by TLC. Now, last week, my mother, James Caldwell, a.k.a. Milan Trejor, said that she felt like that should have been a double elimination. That both of them should have went home last week. Or was it the week before last? Was it last week? I think it was last week with Sugar and Vanjie, I think. I think this should have been a double elimination. That lip sync was horrid. I mean, absolutely horrid. Nina, I don't think, moved from the spot she was in the whole time. I don't think she moved. Silky, on the other hand, went everywhere. She went to the back of the stage and was. It didn't work for Plastique, Silky. What made you think it was gonna work for you? Then she came up front. That damn, oh my gosh, that damn Akira Chanel said she read both of their asses, and you know she loves Silky. She read Silky ass. She said she was flopping all over this. She said she flopping all over these people's stage like a beached whale or something like that. She said it was hilarious. You could see her bodysuit. Her little sash ended up falling off. She almost fell. It was just horrible. She had a reveal, but it wasn't cute because she had a long ponytail reveal that kept getting in her face. It was horrible. Neither one of them were good. And Ruth said that. Ruth said, I've made my decision. And she went, as if to let you know, I wasn't impressed with neither one of y'all. But at the end, Silky stayed. Nina went home. I like Silky, but if she had gone home this week, I would not have been upset. I really wouldn't. Really would not. So that's what we're left with, you guys. Like I said, in Untucked, we got to meet Vanjie's mom, who is beautiful. Oh, her mom is gorgeous. And they just continue, you know, whenever you ask the question of who should go home, of course, that's going to start drama. And they had that whole breakdown. And like I said, Evie, I already addressed it. Evie not understanding that, you know, because she was like, well, you know, people just don't like me because they think I'm mean, and I've been nice to everybody here, and I just don't understand, you know, why you just can't, you know, I've been working and trying to be nice to everybody, and I'm not a mean person. Yeah, you are. And I think when you look back, you'll see what other people are seeing. At least I hope you will. Do I think you're a horrible person? No. But do I think that you can be mean? Yes, I do. And I think you're unapologetically mean, because you think that because you're being honest, that absolves you from the fact that you're being mean. No, you can be honest and mean at the same time. Because again, it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it and when you're choosing to say it. Anyway, that's what I got. Y'all let me know what y'all think in them comments. Peace.